Today, we are tackling one of the biggest silent killers of manifestation: the difference between visualization and overthinking. On the surface, they look identical. You close your eyes. You imagine your future self. You see the car, the house, or the promotion landing on your desk. But underneath that mental image, something is shifting. Inside your head, the movie starts to stutter. The vibrant colors begin to fade into grayscale. Suddenly, you aren't feeling the thrill. You are calculating the logistics. How am I going to afford this? What if my job gets cut next month? Is this image even realistic given my current stats? In seconds, the beautiful vision turns into a complex spreadsheet. The feeling of peace curdles into anxiety. And just like that, your visualization session transforms from an act of creation into an episode of analysis paralysis. You end up staring at the screen or closing your eyes for 20 minutes, leaving with more stress than you started with. We have all been there. We think we are practicing manifestation, but we are actually rehearsing our fears. Today, I want to give you a simple framework to flip the switch from analyzing your dream to feeling it. Because here is the secret nobody tells you. Visualization isn't about seeing clearly with your mind's eye. It is about connecting emotionally with your future reality. When you get into the weeds of how you are using your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, to actively block out your feeling brain, which resides in the limbic system, let's fix that. First, let's define the enemy clearly. Why does overthinking kill manifestation? Think of your mind as a garden. When you visualize with clarity, you are watering the seeds. You are planting roots deep into the soil of possibility. You are saying, "This is where we are going." That feeds growth. But when you start overthinking, you stop watering and start pulling up the plants to inspect the roots. And more dangerously, you stop pulling weeds. Instead, you plant them. When you analyze, your brain attempts to simulate every single potential failure point. It screams, "What if the traffic is bad? What if the client says no? What if I don't look good in that picture?" This is your survival brain hijacking your creative brain. Your prefrontal cortex is trying to solve a physics problem, looking for cause and effect, logic and data, while you are trying to enter a state of pure flow. There is a massive energy difference between these two states. Pure visualization feels like floating. The timeline doesn't matter right now. The details don't have to be perfect yet. It's about the texture of the experience. Overthinking feels like swimming through concrete. You are fighting gravity. Every question is a weight pressing down on your spirit. If you find yourself saying, "This needs to be perfect before I see it," or "I need to know exactly how it happens first," you have slipped into overthinking. You are trying to manifest the map, not the territory. The universe does not send a map. It sends the experience. By waiting for the map, you are delaying the arrival. So, how do we stop the spiral? We change the question entirely. Instead of asking, "How will this happen?" which demands an explanation your logic brain hates because there is no logical answer yet, ask yourself, "What does it feel like to be here?" Shift from the intellectual, "how," to the somatic, "feel." Your body remembers before your mind understands. If you can bring your heart rate down and your breathing steady, you will find that the visualization becomes easier than the analysis. The key is to accept the feeling of uncertainty as a sign of expansion, not a warning sign. Now, let's talk about the most common trap. We often mistake excitement for fear. When you visualize success, your heart races. Your palms sweat. You get nervous. Immediately, your logical brain interprets these physical symptoms as danger. It thinks, "Oh no, if he feels scared, maybe something is wrong." And so, it launches into analysis. I need to make a plan. I need to check my bank balance. I need to research the market. This is a reflex arc that we have to break. You must learn to decouple the physical sensation from the logical conclusion. When you catch yourself drifting into how questions, do not try to force the image to disappear. Instead, focus entirely on the sensory details that are not visual. Logic lives in the eyes. Emotion lives in the body and the other senses. If your brain is stuck on how, drop it immediately to sound or touch. Don't just see the house. Hear the sound of the front door creaking open. Smell the rain hitting the driveway. Feel the cold metal of the railing under your fingertips. Taste the coffee brewing in that perfect kitchen. By engaging these senses, you force a break in the analytical loop. Your brain cannot run on logic and smell at the same time. If your brain is stuck on how, drop it to smell or hear, it forces a break in the analytical loop. Think of your visualization as an act of faith rather than an act of engineering. An engineer looks for blueprints, flaws, and structural integrity before building. A visionary builds first, then finds the blueprint. When you visualize without analyzing, you are not pretending everything is solved. You are acknowledging that the details are unfolding in ways you cannot see yet. This creates a powerful tension called resilient hope. It tells your subconscious, I am not denying reality. I am expanding it. Try this exercise. Close your eyes. See yourself getting that notification. See the email from the college acceptance letter. See the key in the front door. Now, let the analytical voice come in and start its usual chatter. But wait, I need to plan the route. Or what if I can't keep up? Instead of arguing with it or ignoring it, acknowledge it, but then immediately pivot your attention to the texture of the moment. Focus on the warmth of the sun on your skin. Focus on the sound of laughter in that room. Focus on the lightness in your chest as you step into that new reality. Notice how planning sounds like anxiety and trusting sounds like expansion. Visualization is not a rehearsal for failure. It is an immersion in success. If you are constantly critiquing your vision during the process, you are training your brain to expect criticism, not celebration. The goal is not to create a perfect video file in your head where every pixel is defined. The goal is to create a frequency, and frequencies are generated by emotion, not by data points. If you look at the image and think, this looks fake, that's because you haven't connected with the emotion yet. You're analyzing the rendering, not feeling the warmth of the fire. So how do we make this a habit? Here are 3 rules for your practice sessions tomorrow. Rule number 1, the timer rule. Set a timer for exactly 6 minutes. That is it. 6 minutes. When you start, you might think, I have plenty of time to think about how this happened. But the timer forces you into the immediate present. You cannot analyze the entire timeline in 4 minutes. You only have time to feel the moment. The lack of control over the timeline kills the analysis paralysis. When you know it's ending soon, your brain stops trying to solve every logistical puzzle and starts focusing on the core feeling. Time limits are actually a gift. They protect your creative space from your critical mind. Rule number 2, the 5 senses shortcut. When you catch yourself drifting into logic, force yourself to engage one non-visual sense immediately. Don't just see the house. Hear the sound of the front door creaking open. Smell the coffee brewing in that perfect kitchen. Feel the cold metal of the railing under your fingertips. Logic lives in the eyes. Emotion lives in the body and ears. If your brain is stuck on how, drop it to smell or hear. It forces a break in the analytical loop. Rule number 3, journaling versus visualizing. This is crucial. Do not do your visualizations after you have been doom-scrolling social media or reading news, because those activities feed the analysis mode. Also, never try to visualize right after you finish writing a long journal entry about your problems. Journaling for manifestation should be done in a release mode, dumping the worries on paper. Once they are on paper, close the book. Then, during visualization, leave the paper there. Do not bring those written doubts back into your mind's eye. Keep the visualizing space separate from the problem-solving space. If you mix them, your brain will confuse planning with manifesting. To wrap up, remember that manifestation is an art, not a science project. You cannot research your way into your desired reality. You cannot calculate your way to peace. You can only feel your way there. Think of yourself not as a passive observer waiting for life to unfold, but as an active co-creator tuning into a specific frequency. The universe responds to the vibration of your state of being, not the logic of your projections. When you switch from, how will I do this, to, I am so grateful this is happening, you shift the internal weather from stormy anxiety to sunny confidence. That shift is where the magic happens. So, Tomorrow, when you sit down for your practice, make a pact with yourself. No spreadsheets, no contingency plans, and no catastrophic scenarios allowed during the first 6 minutes. If the voice of doubt whispers, "What if it goes wrong?" Smile at that voice and gently guide your attention back to the sensation of success in your chest. Acknowledge the fear as just a passing cloud, not the whole sky. Remember, every time you choose feeling overthinking, you are rewriting the code of your subconscious mind. You are telling yourselves, "This is our new normal." You are building resilience against the inevitable waves of uncertainty by anchoring yourself in the solid ground of love and belief. Start small, start today, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and trust that even when you cannot see the destination clearly, taking one conscious step into the feeling of arrival is enough to pull the entire reality toward you. Your dream is not a distant land. It is a frequency you are already touching. Just stay with it,